Hey, everybody, and welcome to the RVBA live stream for February 4th of 2021. If y'all don't know me, my name is Sean Kirkland. I am the Marketing Communications Manager for the Rockwall Chamber, and I serve as the staff advisor for the RVBA. Today, I got Jeff Skinner with Black Level AV. He's also our RVBA chair with us, and our presenter, Aaron Withrow with Dots Residential Roofing. Aaron was also one of the founding members of the RVBA, too. OG, yeah. So, Jeff, you got a member spotlight for us. Let's get going.
Well, first off, let's clarify your name is Redbeard. I don't know who this Sean Kirkland guy is, but we all know you as Redbeard. So thanks for putting this on tonight for us. And Withrow, thanks for gracing us with that mustache. Appreciate you. So our member spotlight this week is our boy Gerald Hendrick with Rockwall Wealth Advisors. He's been extremely involved in the community with the RVBA and getting behind helping others essentially create wealth through creating habits in your investments. So if you're looking for someone who can help you out with, 401ks, IRAs, or just where to start with investing your money, right there, leave it right there. Scroll back up. If you want to be a successful investor, you have to make investing a habit. If you're looking to create a habit in 2021, reach out to Gerald. Let him take you through the steps. Let him walk you through it. Gerald, thanks a lot for being a member of the RVBA, and we hope you have a great 2020 and you crush it, brother. So appreciate it. With that being said, first off, again, thanks guys for taking time out of your evening to run through the $10,000 Thursday, because that's what it is, right? We haven't even brought that up yet, but what we're going to talk about tonight, and what Aaron's going to lead point man on this discussion, is going to be the art of networking, right? If anybody knows that on Aaron Withrow, they know this dude knows how to network, and not only network, but do it in the right place in the right time. So, getting in a room full of people doesn't mean jack unless you walk in with something to take away from that. So here we are today sitting with Aaron. We're going to let him just kind of run us through the steps. He did a great job creating the content for tonight. So without further ado, let's hit it, my man. He's frozen. He's frozen solid right now.
You frozen there, Aaron? Yes, he is.
All right. Well, we can. I'm sure his connection will reestablish here in a moment. Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about networking, and not necessarily just about being in a room. Actually, Sean and I met each other through a networking event at the chamber many moons ago, and in that time when I first got involved with the networking. It wasn't to me what it is now. I was there just to show my face, meet new people, pass out a bunch of business cards, and then walk away and hope something came from it, right? There was no substance to my conversations. There wasn't any reasoning behind my conversations. And a lot of the networking that we're going to talk about tonight is kind of revolves around the phase of business you're in, right? So Are you in the growth phase? Are you in the I got so much money, I don't have shit else to do, let me go hang out at this networking event phase? Who knows? You know what I mean? But not every network is going to be the right network for where you're at in your business right now. Business in year one, I can recall year one for me was really just about getting to know people in the community and finding out exactly where I could put myself in the community to serve first and foremost. So we as Black Level AV would be in a position where people could start gaining our trust. So there he is. But we didn't get too much, Aaron. You look great. The lighting looks good. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you. But just to catch you up real quick, all I was really saying is knowing what phase you're in within your business should dictate how you're going to network. So I'll let you take it from there, brother.
So I'm having a few little difficulties here, technical difficulties. So I'm going to ask Sean, hey, you mind pulling up the PowerPoint and you can just run it for me?
Gotcha.
One of the benefits of living in the country is having country-ass internet, and that just means that, we don't need it for right now. So I made a quick fix. I'm here on cellular. But, hey, thanks for having me. We're going to talk the art of networking. And so a lot of these things that we have, this is a fun lesson that we have culminated together. These are lessons that we have all been through on the pain side, how to make your network powerful without being annoying. What works. And I think it's a pretty broad standard of better ways to increase your net worth through your network, right? So, Sean, next. Here we go. So, I'm not going to sit here and read the stand slideshow, but not every network works. Not every network works. And I think this really comes down to the value of what is your company doing? Do you really know the guts of your company? Or do you think that you're just kind of starting out and you're trying some stuff out? Knowing your internal mechanisms is really going to help you identify what type of professional network or social network. I mean, what do you really thrive on? Who's your customer? This was actually learned back in the day over long discussions with Skinner, right, Skinner?
Oh yeah.
And who's your client? And then where's that client's network? Where the client's going to be able to be tapped into from what network? And not all of them do the same. Jeff?
Well, you're hitting on a point that's important, and I think we should take a couple of seconds to talk about this. Every business is a little bit different, and Aaron's nailed it on the head here when he says, "Are you in the right room with the right people?" If you go back through all of the discussions we've had as a RVBA and guest speakers in the whole deal, we've banged the nail on the head talking about being in the right room, putting the right people on the right seats of the right bus. So me as a business owner in my business, or Aaron in his business, or Sean in his business, we may want to look at networking a little bit different. And we all know that 2020 has been a whole year of learning how to network without being in the same room as people, right? So you've seen a ton of these videos, you've seen a ton of the podcasts or whatever it is we figured out, but you have to make sure that you're in the right room with the right people, because if you're looking for high net wealth people and that's what your business thrives on, you're probably not going to be hanging out at the VFW on a Friday night, right? You're going to want to be sitting in a room that's a chamber event with a lot of wealthy folks in it or something like that. But you're 100% dead on there, brother.
Thanks, boss. So really, it's all about wasting time. Some of the bad networks are going to be pretty dang obvious pretty fast, but there's times when you are, let's face it, networking is a social interaction. And for those of you that know me, you know I'm a social butterfly. I love being around people, but sometimes we're not getting our business value to go out and have some fun. It needs to be fun, but not every function is basically moving your business forward. So it's identifying those ones where you just this one. Jeff, I'm not going to say who, what, where, why, but remember the one that we always used to go to at the Mexican restaurant? Wasting my time.
Waste.
We're going to talk about why it was a waste of my time. Good folks, just wasting my time. Anyways. So,
sorry, guys. Let me fix this real quick.
Oh, you're good, boss.
Now keep going, man, because you're definitely because
finding the right network at the right time of your business, and that can go a long way, especially when you're trying to grow your brand. Do you have a brand to even grow? Some people want to creep in the background and selectively find their clients. They don't want to be out there in a big way. So go ahead and on to the next one, Sean. So again, let's just go ahead and start from the base. These are some really good examples, but they're certainly not exhaustive, but I've kind of put them in the broad categories, and it's church, work, and state. Nonprofit service organizations, professional organizations, and political organizations. Jeff and I also have talked about this ad nauseum, that how we separate and wear the different hats between the veteran business professional to the more service organization like our American Legion. How do you wear what hat at what time? And so I can't even read my small print there. But at the end of the day, I'm always going to say your network needs to stay in its category. If you're going to the American Legion, not a time to pass out business cards. I mean, obviously it happens every now and then to help a brother out, but you wouldn't go into church and pass out business cards. That place is a place for, good services and work, but absolutely the business place at RVBA. I want to see your cards. We want to share that stuff around, but maybe RVBA is not the place to talk politics and religion. And so stick to that network, utilize it for what it is, but they're always going to wind up becoming interconnected because half the guys that are running the RVBA are same guys that are running the American Legion. They're the ones that want to step forward. So it's just wearing the right hat and the right role. Next. So we talked about that in the first slide. What's the purpose of your business? So this is when you're really getting down to the nitty gritty. Who's your customer? And that's probably the biggest question that you need to identify in the right type of network. Is that network for your customer? And I'll let that sink in for a second because it's real easy to get in some networks that are B2B, business to business. Yeah. When in actuality, I want to be in a network that's touching my customers. Point in case, real estate. Real estate touches all my peeps. Jeff?
No, you're right, man. You know, I find myself, so I hit the networking heavy, and I actually met you through the Fuzzies networking, right? So immediately I knew, okay, if none of these other people in here are my people, I know at least this dude's my people right here. So if you can take one thing away, let's say, for instance, you show up to a networking event and you realize, man, this isn't my style. Like I don't catch the vibe here. I guarantee you there's one person in that room that may be thinking the same thing with you. And you can find that person by just small conversations throughout the night. And once you click with somebody there, kind of hang with them and make that your mission to understand who they are, what they're about, and build that relationship there, because that may be the reason you went there. It didn't feel right when you first got there, but if you walk away with one good relationship, don't just leave that relationship with a handshake and a high five. Cultivate that relationship, build upon that relationship, because just to give you an example, I probably met Withrow. Actually, I know for a fact he was the first person I met in this area that brought me into this world, without a shadow of a doubt. So, where I've come from in the networking has been learned through what Withrow has done and showed. And some things didn't work for me, and some things don't work for you or Redbeard or whatever. But the big picture here, and what my point is I'm trying to get, is if you walk into a room and you feel like you're in the wrong spot, give it an opportunity, because you never know what could come from it. Don't just leave and say that was a waste of time, because I guarantee you, if you take one thing away from one conversation you had in that room and apply it somewhere, it might have been worth it. What do you think, Redbeard? You do a lot of networking.
Yeah, I mean, I see that a lot. We get people who come in and, they'll want to, just start handing out business cards. Right? And I always try to discourage that. You need to build that relationship. And what you're talking about, you don't know what kind of relationship you'll leave with, right? If you're walking in there hard selling, you're probably not going to leave with a good relationship, no matter how hard you try. You need to start getting to know people. People don't just want to buy from whoever's there. They want to know you, especially in this community.
Yeah. That kind of drives the point of the question. So when you walk into a networking area, you should already be going there with understanding what you're trying to take away from that networking. And the first point that Aaron has here is, who is the customer? So do you think that room is full of anybody that could be your customers? If you're a roofer, if you're an insurance agent, if you're a real estate person, you have a lot more potential to walk into a room and just have all kinds of clients, right? Everybody needs a roof. Everybody needs a home. Everybody has money, blah, blah, blah. But if you're in like my boat, where I'm like a specialty type industry, I'm a want, not a need. The AV industry is not a have to have. I have to target my networking specifically to where I think those people are going to be. And what I've done and what I've found work for me is I've started networking in groups that I don't know people, right? Because when you hang with the same crew, you hang with the same network, you basically, just like Withrow said, we're jumping from the Legion to the RVBA back to the Chamber. Dude, we see each other way too much. So you feel like you're stagnant in your networking, try to find something to get you out of your comfort zone, because real change comes in uncomfortable situations, and find a new networking place to be at. It's one of those things where it's kind of trial and error, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So let's move on. We've identified our customer. What type of network is catering to this customer, or am I the customer in this network? Next. And so I always want to try to put the best topic at the top. Develop your pillar of people. what Jeff was saying earlier, you walk into a room and you're just not vibing with anybody. I've always found with networks, and you can always create a sub network, but you're creating your own network.
Yeah.
And that is a really good way, because now you're bringing the people together. There's pros and cons. Look at the RVBA. There's been nothing but positives about putting this network together, but it has definitely and selfishly helped me out over the years.
Yeah.
We put it together from the ground up, and that's kind of given me a fun cheerleader status as an OG member of the RVBA, but I was lonely. It's hard being way up here at the top and the awesomest at everything without sharing it with your brothers and sisters.
This fucking, yeah.
But no, that was always, and I did that for a reason. This is the reason. I bring humor to the group.
Yeah.
You've got to have somebody for those roles. And so that's why I always put up there, find your pillar people, the people that you could build a network around, the funny guy, the process-driven guy, the guy that wants to hammer down some structure to the group, and just those pillars that make a great foundation, and you build this massive network. And it's not just in personality, it's also in professional trade as well. You want some of the big trades that bring people their own little sub networks. Best example, realtor. Realtors
Yes.
are foundational to network groups, because then they bring lenders, they bring title, they bring other trades. Excuse me, but you fill yourself with a financial pillar, a social pillar, a beauty pillar, and a real estate pillar, a trade circle pillar. That's where your roofer comes in. And you create this really diverse but stable network.
There's a comment. First off, for you guys and gals that are watching and listening, like Chastity, thanks for joining us. I got to read this off right quick, and I'm going to dig into your question here. But Doc, good to see you on here, brother. Hey, Reno, good to see you. And yeah, I'm drinking water, bro. I've been drinking water for about 15 years, so I'm good there. Anyway, so I'm gonna summarize what Chastity had said here. Basically, she's a Black Rifle Company and a bakery. And they support, if anybody knows, mostly first responders and veterans, right? Well, at the end of here, she basically, in a nutshell, saying she did all this networking and it didn't work, and the connections, fell out over time. And then she says, "What do you say a restaurant business owner does in a business setting?" So, if I'm getting that question right, you're asking how to continue your networking being a restaurant owner. Well, first and foremost, I would say get involved in the community. Because once people know of you and you have that service before self mentality, it has to be a consistent thing. And if you're looking for a short game, if you're looking to show up to a networking event and be a millionaire next Monday, it ain't going to happen, right? You got to put in the work. You got to stick with it. It's not going to be fun all the times. And there's going to be some times where you're like, damn it, I don't want to go to this networking event, but I know my clients are there. I know my customers are there. You got to get out and get going. If anybody knows me, and Redbeard can attest to this right here, right now, I wanted nothing to do with the chamber. Nothing at all. And look at that smile on Withrow's face. He knows even better. But I'm going to tell you firsthand, being so against the chamber 4 years ago, before I decided to change my mindset, first off, that I needed to put in more than I was expecting to get out, it changed like that. So great question. Short answer is keep doing the work. Keep networking, keep putting yourself out there in the community and making sure people know that they can trust you. You have high integrity and you have a service before self mentality. I guarantee you that networking is going to build you more relationships than business. And what is business? Relationships.
Absolutely.
So great question.
And I was trying to read her whole comment. It kind of cut off because it was pretty long. So, yeah.
No, but it's a good question.
No, it's a great question because I'm going to identify that here in just a little bit, but it goes back to who your customer is and are you in a group that's going to provide to that customer? So how do you get to those networking opportunities, especially in a restaurant? It's very important to create your own network. I've seen and gone to plenty of networking groups where the owner's participating in the group that they're hosting at their restaurant. And you're starting to bring the people in instead of just having them randomly walk in through your front door. Creating a brand, except for the most part. So we move on to the next. This one was always a good one because I got a good question one time about what is your role and why do you get so many referrals? It's like, oh, okay. So
yeah,
I think Ben said it once in the very early days of RVBA. He goes, guys, if you just go outside and look, just outside that building over there, it's got an AC. There's plenty of work for all of us. And I thought it was just very profound. I was like, Ben, damn it, you're right. And, you know, for me, it's really easy. You walk outside. If it's got a roof on it, it's something I could be called on. But in a networking group, that puts that impetus on me. I've really got to bring the thunder. I've got to bring some back. If I'm taking referrals in left and right, I got to find guys that need those referrals. And that made me more receptive to being the guy that's always got a guy.
It's a two-way street, man.
100%. You can't just come in because, so go back to the slide just real quick, and it's the drain, the taker. So the taker can turn really nasty really fast. The guy that is always just shows up and he's like, all right, where's my referrals? Yeah. No gratitude. Like Jeff said, it's got to be two-way. And then there's the guy that just takes a whole lot, but you can see he is plugging people in. He is trying to give out referrals wherever they're at. He's a referral machine. So you really have to define your own role within the group and what you prefer to be.
Let me punch in on this real quick. No, leave that up just for a second because this is an important one right here, and I think we need to spend some time on this. So when you become the giver in a networking situation and you're just like doling out referral. Yeah. Let me just be the person that says it, and people aren't going to want to hear this. And if it pisses you off, you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. You'll be fine. So if you're the giver, always the giver, don't be afraid to ask for referrals. Right. There's no problem with that. I want to help. But I've personally been in a situation where I've done like this with referrals, bam, bam, bam. And I don't even get a thank you or a text or rah, whatever. Look, the bottom line to it is be the giver. Absolutely be the giver. Because that's, if you give, you get. But don't be afraid to sit back and say, hey man, you know, we've been working together for a while. I've given you a lot of leads. I notice you're in a lot of homes that are kind of my potential clients. Can you hook a brother up? You know what I mean? Because you got to stop and think. If I refer Withrow and he refers me, we both win and our clients win because we both do great work, right? So now that network there in itself has created a new network. So if you're the giver, don't feel like you can't ask for it. You know what I mean? I wanted to hit that point very, very candidly because a lot of people will give and then they don't have the balls to stand back and say, hey, homeboy, I've given you a lot of work. Where's the how do you say that word?
Reciprocity.
There you go. That one.
Where's the reciprocal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sean, tell us what you think about these terms here, because you're heavily involved with a lot of these networks in the chamber, being a big wig over at the chamber and all that stuff. Give us some of your input on these.
I mean, piggyback off what you said, being the giver and being afraid to. Honestly, what I see a lot of people who kind of fail at the chamber life. You know, they come in with that giving, personality. You know, they want to help everybody, and then, like you said, they are afraid to make that ask. And then they walk away. They're like, "Man, we didn't get anything out of the chamber. I poured my heart and soul into it, but you know, no one gave anything back." And you got to think about it. We're all business people, and at the end of the day, we're looking out for ourselves, right? As much as we may want to help everybody else, we're looking out for ourselves. And sometimes we have to be the one. We have to advocate for ourselves and go, "Hey, you know, give me what you got." You know, you're looking for those high-end clients that have those AV needs. You know, the referral king and queen. You know, Aaron, that's you. You know, you're our referral queen. So I already know I can call you up for something.
You see how he slid that in there real quick?
Redbeard's got jokes. I got you.
Always. Yeah. You know, in the taker, how we have here that it's not necessarily a bad turn, but it can quickly turn bad. You know, we've been in those situations where people they don't give back whatsoever, you know, and they really, really do benefit from a networking group. And they just, you know, they don't think to give back to. They're being a little too selfish about it.
Yeah.
You know,
you got to kind of also have a little bit of taker in you as well. So I think that's what Withrow put there, that it's not a bad term, because it goes back to the give and the take. Like any relationship, your family, your friends, your kids, your business, or whatever, there's always a give and take, and it's a very fluid process. So make sure that you're not afraid. That's the biggest point I want to make on my end.
Here's what what was meant by taker, and that's why I put not a bad term.
Yeah,
I'm a taker. I am a taker in some networks, and that is realtor networks. I love working in the real estate. It's a business to business transaction where I can over and over and again prove myself to that one realtor, and I become their favored roofer. And then if I can get in with their networks, I become a taker. Do I have, so basically my baby sister calls me up and says, "Hey, Aaron, I need to move. Could you give me a realtor?" Well, first of all, I'm not going to play that game on this show tonight, but who would I give my real estate referral to?
Oh,
I
Chris
know
Dorward.
so
Chris
many.
Dorward, right? I'll say it.
Like I said, I'm not playing this game. I'm not going to stand on that pillar, Chris Dorward. But no, I've made so many great relationships that I can't just give out that one thing. So I'm a taker. I take them in, I take them in, I take them in. But I flip the switch on that. They know I take all the referrals. I pay that back by doing really good jobs and making sure that they stay in the driver's seat. I add value to that referral. So it makes me okay to be a taker, not that guy who takes, and you don't see him again. So
No, you're there because, I think if you're looking at all these words on the screen here and you're asking yourself, am I giver, am I referral, blah, 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 whatever. I think all of us are a little bit of each of these. But the last one here is the I will represent you.
yeah.
You have to be very, very careful with this one because the moment you put your name on a referral, you better hope to God you trust that person, their work ethic, their integrity, their whole deal, because you've now just merged your brand with their brand. So it's okay to represent people. Like I know without a shadow of a doubt, if anybody needs a roof, I'm calling my man Doc and Aaron without a question. And
Thanks,
there's
Bob.
a whole nother other list of fellas and gals that I have too. But just be real cautious that you're not just handing out referrals because they're your homeboy or your homegirl. Make sure they do good work because once you sign off on that and they go to that client and they dig something up or they do something wrong or whatever, you now are associated with that negative experience that client had.
Yeah.
That's huge. So you got to tread lightly on that one.
Yeah, and I just want to put an exclamation point on that one. That is making sure that your referrals are good is just as important as making sure that you're doing good work. I've seen that so many times that people, they refer their friend, and I'm sure we've all done it. We referred a friend that we thought was going to do good work and we, hear back that it wasn't that great, or they didn't get back in a timely fashion. So I just want to put that point on there that who
Jeff,
you refer
Jeff
to is
gets my referrals. Hell, one time he put up my TV and did a full set of 10 for Chesty Puller. It was magnificent. Off the TV mount. It was so well mounted. He did one for the core, one for Jody. He got the Chesty Puller level. So good job, buddy.
Jody. Hey, but you're dead on, man. We go back to the two-way street, right? Networking is always a two-way street. No matter what classification you include yourself in these 6 categories here, be sure that if Redbeard gives my name out, I'm going to do 110% on that project.
Hell yeah.
Not just because he did it, but that's how I run my business. But you have to understand that's where you're becoming. Now you're turning into the taker. That is a bad word because now you're taking business and you're not, keeping your word by doing good work. So great point there. Great point there, Sean.
Next. So this is my favorite. How do you overlap your networks? And we're not talking about the professional networks. Hell, I'm in 2 chambers and I love them both. They represent this county that I live in. It's a great couple of chambers and they do overlap. I know they've got leadership in both, but it's more than just that. Your professional networks, your kids' sports clubs. Who's familiar? Are you guys familiar with Clubhouse?
It's a new app. Yeah.
Okay. So it's podcasting with interaction. And if you've ever been to a conference, you've seen a panel discussion, it's just like that. And you can join those panel discussions. I think it's brilliant. But what I'm finding is it's taking my network into some other small bubbles of business in North Dallas, St. Louis, cross country. You never know when those contacts. So is it worth my time? As long as it doesn't interfere with cash making time, yeah. Get out there and increase the size of my network. See, because you never know when that's going to come in handy, especially as Doc and I start moving into the commercial space.
Yeah.
I need bigger and better contacts.
Well, and you have to, it's not just about the contacts though. It's about cultivating the contact to become a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think if there's one thing that the word that goes next to networking, right next to it is relationships. Without a shadow of a doubt. Darby just said thanks for joining us there, Chamber Darbs.
Totally turns people off.
It does, man. It totally does. When you show up and you're all me the whole time, and people see right through that bullshit. We've talked about this 100 different times on the RVBA. If you're trying to bullshit people, I guarantee you they're going to see it right off the bat. Do you think they're ever going to want to talk, hang, refer, whatever it is? No, just be yourself. Go in there with a mentality that you're just trying to build relationships. The rest stops.
It's not when they start walking towards you, you start to cringe, hide, or find some excuse. It's like, oh crap, here they come.
Yeah.
They're going to pitch me again.
You never want to be that guy.
No.
So let's talk a little bit about real quick the differences in networking that we're used to pre-COVID to what it is today now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's important because we're talking about all the things that we're discussing as if we were standing in a room with one another, right? I'll give you something that's been working for me in a networking atmosphere is I'll run into somebody, job site related, whatever it may be. We'll exchange business cards, and then I'll follow up in a week and just say, hey, great meeting you. Let's do coffee if you're comfortable with it, or let's get together. And it's built some relationships for me that I thought I would have never had before, simply by getting out of my comfort zone to create different ways to network. Networking just doesn't have to be standing in a room full of folks at a chamber event or at a whatever DAV event, whatever it may be. You have to understand your business first. Number two, understand the clients you're trying to engage with, and then create your own networking style. Everyone has it. Everyone knows that the RVBA has been a tremendous networking success. And you know what? We haven't been in a meeting in a damn 11 months almost. But yet the RVBA still was able to kill it in 2020. Multi-million-dollar businesses, new employees, best year ever. I mean, the whole deal. The bottom line to it is figure out the way networking works best for your business model and for your business, and then create that network for yourself.
Yeah. And push. It doesn't self-sustain.
It's a constant battle. The rent's due every day.
There's days where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to firebomb Jeff's house. I just don't want to deal with this crap anymore. But I wouldn't
love me.
I know I do love you. But I mean, it's hard. When we were growing this thing, man, dude, it's pulling nails. It's tough. I just want to go back to work and do what I do best. Go sell some roofs. But taking that time out to build that network, it pays in gold.
And that's exactly what I was saying to Chastity here was don't give up on the process, trust in the process, because look, at the end of the day, if you're looking to go into a networking event one time and expect to grow a year's worth of business out of it, you're wrong. It's not going to happen. Don't even waste your time by going, right?
Yeah.
So the mindset has to be that this is a long game, like the stock market or real estate investment, like any of those type of things where you got to put in the work, you got to put in the effort, and you absolutely have to understand that it's a long-term process for you. You don't want to be a flash in the pan, number one, because then you're here today, gone tomorrow. People are going to see that. They're going to tell other people about that. Your business is going to have an adverse effect because you're not going to get the referrals that you're looking for. So stick with it. Trust me, I can tell you because I didn't want any part of any of this, and I stuck with it, and it's helped me be successful with what I'm at.
Next. So network etiquette, don't be offering the pitch, no sob stories. And I should have put that one at the top.
Don't pass a badass referral with a weak ass story.
Yes, thank you. I was trying to come up with some sort of nicer way, but don't pass a badass story with so hey man, I've got a mansion for you, Jeff, and it needs full on automation, man. It's horrible. It's built in the 1920s, but they just got done with the remodel. But the builder, he's got no legs. Okay. And without the use of, I mean, now I'm getting into some dangerous territory, but basically don't give me a sob story on the work. Like I'm going to cut cost. What I'm going to do is I'm going to represent you with the best damn value they've ever seen. Like that's what I'm doing. I am personally going to take care of your friend, your referral, your whatever. But don't hit me with so they've had 15 forms of cancer at once. It's like, oh, okay. So what do I do with that?
Yeah, just
do good work or what?
Just hearing you say that right now makes me go, oh, it's like one of those things.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to gain any sort of traction in your business by making someone feel guilty, that's what we're trying to hit on right now. There's no reason for that. Guilt shouldn't play a part in any of this. It should be, we've built a relationship to where I can trust you.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to go over there and handle, Chris Norwood said it best at our whiteboard party before the end of 2020. We all got together and he stood up and said, I love to refer my people in the RVBA because I trust these people. I trust when Doc and Aaron go somewhere. I trust when I give Redbeard something. I know it's going to take place. At the end of the day, that trust is so important because they don't have to worry about looking back and saying, shit, I referred him. Do I have to worry about that? Do I have to worry that he's going to do a good job? So,
Totally.
the sob story stuff, if you got sob stories, the RVBA ain't the place for you. I'm going to tell you that right now because we don't play that here.
2 tiers in the bucket.
Yeah, kick the rocks. That's what I'm saying with that.
But yeah, and it comes down to the I'll wrap it up with we're not going to ask our referrals for free services. Hey Jeff, I got this guy, he's moving from New York, he's selling multiple properties to move into the nicer part of Heath. Can you do a complimentary diagnostic where you spend 3 or 4 hours crawling through his attic to make sure he's got the appropriate wiring?
Nope.
That's not what we want to do. And some people offer free services. It really comes getting to know your network partner and what they do. I know Jeff he can go out and look at something, but if he's going to crawl around in an attic, he needs to be properly compensated for his time. He does very technical, in-depth stuff.
And the thing about that too is when you have a respect for a counterpartner, whatever industry it may be, you should never ask them for free services because any other business owner that's going to ask somebody for a free service,
unless you're a lawyer, you can ask AC for free services anytime you want.
But it's kind of one of those things too, where like, I'll give you an example in my business. I don't charge for consultations. And to be honest with you, if I have to spend 30 minutes there, okay, because you know what? I'm spending that 30 minutes for me to make sure that I'm going to design the system properly and my business is going to succeed with this project. But you have to understand there's a value proposition there. And I think that's what Aaron's getting at, right? If I give Aaron this and Aaron gives me that, and we're trading those type of services, it's different than, hey, bro, I'll give you a box of 22 ammo if you go install this TV for homeboy on his patio. Dude, don't even play those games with your people because you lose respect instantly like that. Treat the other business owners as their business owners. And then when you're cutting it up and throwing axes at shenanigans and drinking beers together or whatever, maybe y'all can talk about some stuff like that, but never, ever, ever do that in front of a client, a builder, any of those kind of things, because you immediately degrade the value, which is a huge word that Aaron's been saying. You degrade that value of that company instantly. And now that client thinks they're going to be able to have the same conversation on the sidebar. Hey, man, if I give you a box of 22, you want to install these speakers for me? Shit, no, man. 22 bullets don't pay my bills.
Now at today's ammo prices, they absolutely do.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good point, though, man.
Ammo.
That's a great point.
All right, next.
Oh.
Okay, so this is the last one, and then we can kind of open it up to the floor. I put this in here because, let's face it, pyramids suck. Do not bring your weak-ass pyramid to a networking group. Do not.
Get out of here.
Sorry. It's wrong in every shape, sense, or form. I'm here to grow a business. I tell you what, I'm going to take this back. I was wrong. You feel free to go to a pyramid networking group with other pyramid people. All right? Y'all sell the shit out of each other, but I don't want none of that business here.
Sell them candles that turn into houses and boats.
Yeah. Hey, it's in there. If you are willing to scam a whole lot of people, you too can be at the top of the pyramid. But That's exactly what it is. It's you making an unethical choice to profit off of others' recruitment and short time sales. It's just, man, I don't want to get started on it. If you bring that pyramid into a networking group, you will see your group deteriorate. So all the jokes aside, we can talk seriously about it because there's a good little gray area of places where that pyramid can hide. Some people call them pyramids and they're not. They're multi-level markets. And some people are multi-level markets and they're not. And we've got to understand, we've all been in chain of command.
Yeah.
I was a soldier. I became a corporal or a specialist where I commanded soldiers and we all go out and take down the enemy. Then I became a sergeant where I had 2 corporals and 4 soldiers and we all go out and we take down the enemy. But at some point, Sergeant Withrow becomes a leader. And now I'm training my sergeants how to go grab their corporals to go out and grab their soldiers. And that's a pyramid. That's called upward mobility. But I'm not, when you're really trading out value and you're taking advantage of your downline, that is going to become that pyramid. So how do you recognize those when they come into this network that you've created and they are seriously a small cancer that can start to degrade? Because the easiest way to get you into the pyramid is, hey, Jeff, you want to sell beard oils with me? I'm not saying beard oil sales is a pyramid, but it certainly can be. But Jeff and I like beards. We obviously like our beards to smell like sweet cedar and mahogany.
Don't leave Redbeard out. He's got a sweet beard too.
And Redbeard.
I like lemon zest.
Yeah, Redbeard's beard probably smells like cabbage. His Irish heritage. Anyways, back to what I was saying though. The easiest way to get big in a pyramid is to recruit your buddies.
Yeah.
And if you allow that into your network group, you're going to start seeing some of these people within the net group like, oh, you're in the cult too. And you're like, yeah, secret hand sign. And you realize half your network is in this cult.
Well, yeah, and earlier when we were talking about, that guy who comes out, who walks in the room, and then you're just like, no, I want to walk away from this. That's where a lot of those people come from. And I think, Aaron, you're not saying every multi-level marketing person's horrible. There's some people who are out there just trying to make some money too on the side or whatever.
My mom sells oils.
Yeah. When you walk into the networking meeting, don't be trying to, recruit that next person in your downline. If you have a product to sell your product. And if it's good enough and people want to join your boat, that'll happen naturally. But, I don't really think the networking group is that place to build.
Correct.
Well, I'll say it because I think you guys are kind of pussyfooting around it or whatever, but no one likes people that do these pyramid schemes. And most people think they're a bunch of bullshit. So let's just call it for what it is. But if you have a legitimate business plan, you have a legitimate product, like Redbeard said, that people can trust and buy and see themselves in the future using it, then don't be afraid to bring it up. I think the point of it is if you got some shady shit going on, check it at the door because people are going to see it. They're going to see it. They're going to see it. I promise you. And the more you hang in certain networks, do you want to be the guy that is, or the gal that's known to create value and benefit other people's businesses? Or do you want to be the guy that's known as a snake oil salesman who comes in just looking for me? Because I promise you, in this town and in any other town, it's going to be found out real quick, and you're going to become that black sheep. And you may have a golden heart. You may be a great person. But at the end of the day, perception is everything.
Yep.
Go into a networking event, you're going to be perceived one way or the other. How do you want to be perceived is the question, right?
Yep.
So
again,
leave that MLM pyramid shit at home.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I love hearing that. Well, I'm not an MLM. I'm a legitimate business. I'm like, oh, okay. So let's talk technical specs. And we'll just leave it at that so we don't offend some, because let's face it, there are great people that are in MLMs. I said it just a second ago. My mom is a cancer advocate. She does great work for people, and they believe in the power of essential oils.
Yeah.
And it is a good thing. And I love oils, and it makes me sleep like a baby because my pillows smell like lavender. But is it MLM? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was saying. Like, there's two sides to it, right? If you come prepared and you understand what you're selling, you can speak on it properly, people can trust you, you're more likely to get some business out of one of those things if you are in this type of business. I mean, hey, I'll be the first one to say it. Get in where you fit in. You know what I'm saying?
Get in where you fit in. Yeah.
But don't expect everybody to follow that. Every business is different. Every business owner is different. The question is, how do you want to be perceived when you're in a networking event? Are you in the right room with the right people, right? Because that's a big deal too. If you know that you can go pitch that kind of sale in this certain room, by all means, get in where you fit in. Go do your thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Walking into a banker's networking, that it might not be the place to pitch your Thrive or your candles or whatever it is it may be. I don't know what ML is. I've never been an advocate for it. So
I'm loving this because somebody up there's got their feathers ruffled. And let's just
it's all right though. You know what? Hey, we've always been very candid, very honest. If anybody knows any of us, like truly knows us, they know we do this on a weekly basis, and we've been doing it for freaking 40, 50 weeks on a basis because we truly, from our heart, want to see other people succeed. So
I've got two more.
Yeah.
No slides. These are actually questions I was going to put out to you.
Shoot it.
I've got them in the when I do this for other networking groups when they ask my opinions, but I'll give you the first one. Clicks in the networking group.
Clicks.
Let's talk click. We're on the process of how to lose your network. Clicks. Yeah. What's your thoughts? Hard not to form them. Would you say difficult. RVBA leadership click?
I'll let Redbeard answer first. Go ahead.
I mean, I think we were talking about another networking group before, we got on, and you had mentioned that I think that you felt that it was kind of clicky there, maybe a little stuck up and things like that. I think that's really important for the people who are in the group and who help run the group to be aware of, to kind of squash it. People are going to be friends. People are going to go with people that they, who relate with more. So that's naturally going to happen. But, how does the group not discourage the cliques, but kind of split them up a little bit and get the two cliques that are kind of opposite together and growing with each other? Cliques will kill a group, though, 100%.
But I also think you're right as well when you say that they're going to happen. They've naturally happened since we were in preschool and kindergarten, right? We find our best friend and we hang out with our best friend and a couple of people or whatever. We did it in high school. We did it in college. I can tell you right now in the Marine Corps, you got a company full of Marines, but you still have about 5 or 6 dudes you hang out with. That's your little clique. I think, man, that's a good dang question, dude. It's tough because they form. And
so
if we're being transparent here, Doc Casey and I kind of formed a clique, and we kind of clicked ourselves together, and then we proceeded to move forward and grow the RVBA with obviously some other help from guys like Withrow and some other things. But I think that can be a powerful tool if you understand that even though your clique may be making moves, you're nothing without the rest of your alliance.
And people want to be in your clique. That's why it's not a bad thing. It's just got to be a right thing. People love what we have built with the RVBA.
Yeah, absolutely.
They love the fact that we're in there. They want to be part of the clique. But the cool thing is your clique personality needs to be inviting. Like, you can be a part of the clique. It's kind of like Texas as a whole. Every other state in the union sucks, but you're welcome to come here and be a Texan anytime.
Just leave all that other bullshit in your other state.
Leave all that other bullshit, outside the borders. There's a whole river system that you can throw your bullshit in, and it will flow to the Gulf. But you're always welcome to Texas. So you want to be that kind of a clique. Like, no, you're welcome. Please come join us. But we are exclusive. We love each other. We're clicked. But you can stand right here.
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked that, because that kind of it puts some perception of where we're at with the RVBA, and like Redbeard and I were talking beforehand. I guess if you see yourself in a networking situation and you see that there's a clique over there, maybe you should ask yourself, why are those guys or gals clicked up? What mentality do they have? What's their mindset? What goals are they trying to accomplish? And do they align with mine? Because if it does, man, get yourself involved. Go step out of your comfort zone and introduce yourself and get involved with that. But the key word I'm saying is involvement. You have to be involved. You can't just go shake a hand, give a high five, throw a business card down on the table and expect shit from it, because it's not going to happen, right? CJ, thanks for joining us. I don't know how you got on here either, but yeah, you are in an interesting crew of dudes here.
Yeah, I'm a member of the Rockwallian Uncensored, which is a great group because it's for people like me, who are not allowed to congregate with people like y'all. So I shared it to the group. She added it. So, hey, CJ, thanks.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. That's a great question. So if you're listening, you're watching, and you see this on a replay or whatever, maybe the question you can ask yourself is, am I clicked up in a network that's not adding benefit to the others in my network? And if so, it's very simple to fix that. I'll give you an example. 2020, January-ish, in that area, we opened up the Rockwall Veterans Business Alliance to Patriots, and it was a smash hit. It was a smash hit. We said we're no longer going to close the doors and just be a veteran organization, because there's a ton of patriots out there that bring an immense value to the RVBA. And as soon as we did that, there were some people that didn't like it. There were some people that loved the shit out of it. If you're in a clique, are you enhancing the success of the rest of your alliance or your network? That's a question I would say ask.
Yeah, and DJ's hitting it right on the head here. It's dangerous if you're only around people who only think like you do.
Right.
As business people, we need to be able to expand. As people too, just in general. You need to open up your mind a little bit and open up to different areas. So I think that's a great point, CJ.
What's your second question?
So the second one, and this one is, I saved it for the last because this is the one thing that people will laugh at with me, because I was the biggest violator of this one rule, and I saw my network fluctuate drastically, and it's called muddy waters. Walk into a network group and you are a roofer / gunslinger / life insurance salesman / amateur beard oil maker. You will leave that room and not have a network. Now, we're talking about from a more professional stance, how to build your network. It's not that bad once people get to know you. I love the fact that people know I shoot guns on the weekends and they can come take lessons with me. But I don't talk about it until I've gotten to know you for a while, since I've worked the network and I've established this circle. Because that muddy waters, do you guys remember when nobody could figure out what I did?
Yeah, dude, I didn't know for like the first year.
Yeah, but you liked me. So
I loved you.
Stuck around because I was dedicated to getting this veterans network up, but you had absolutely no clue what I did.
Yeah.
And you were not the first person that told me. So networks can be kind of muddy when you've got somebody a little bit into everything. And when you present yourself as that person, yeah, you basically are relying on personality alone. And I am a home run or a strikeout. You either like me or you don't.
That you're making a great point, dude, because it goes back to kind of one of the first, discussions we were talking about early on, was go in with a purpose, right? Go into the networking event of your choice, wherever it may be, with a purpose, understanding you're trying to take something away from there. But you also have to remember you got to bring something.
Yeah.
If you're bringing this squirrel light, all that shit, people are gonna be like, what's going on here with this guy? They may like you, may think you're funny as shit, but are they gonna want to do business with you? At the end of the day, that's what this is about, right? We can all be likable, we can all be not likable, whatever you may be, whatever category you fall into. The mission that we're trying to get to here is understand your purpose with the networking, go in with a game plan, surround yourself in the networks that create business for you, and then bring value, because that's when people start looking at you as an innovator. They start looking at you as someone they can count on and trust in. So, man, that's a good question, dude. I'm glad you saved those to the last, man. That was cool.
Cool. So that's all I got for you. I appreciate that recap, Jeff. Value probably being my number one thing.
Yeah.
Bring the value. Give it away. Don't look back. That bitter, where's my referrals guy? He's always the last one, standing in the group, but also the first one you want out of the group. If you just walk in, just slinging value like ninja stars, trust me, you'll know real quick, is this my network? And how can I help this network? And if you're not doing anything, you're stagnant. You're not growing. Yeah. So you got to be willing to commit and grow with that network.
We got a kind of a case in point question here. And I want to bring this up because I want to just bust this guy's chops for a minute. Our boy Michael Irby over here does remodels, does some contracting work and some things like that. Asked the infamous question, what does one need to do to get a shout out from the RVBA for being a new member? Well, glad you asked, Michael Irby. You can get involved, enjoy some networking with us, bring your ass on one of these lives one day, use a cell phone to call us, talk to us, we love to shout you out. So I'll give you a shout out right now, my friend. Michael Irby is a guy who does some custom remodeling, does some work, very construction oriented. So if you're looking for that, but to answer your question on a serious note, just because I'm busting your chops because I know you, we pick a member spotlight every week out of 68 or 72 people. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. I'm going to just be completely honest with you. We go down, we roll the dice, and we pick somebody because we want to make sure that every one of our members is getting it. And we keep a spreadsheet, and it's yellowed out. If your name got crossed, the whole deal. So, but you're asking the question that we're talking about right now. So that's why I want to say it's case in point. People need to understand who you are, but they have to understand that you're in it to build a relationship more than anything else, above all. And then they're going to understand once they get to know you that you do bring value, that they can trust you. And I promise you, from being the guy that wanted no part of any of this to being the chair of this organization, if you put the work in with the right mindset, this stuff works for you. So that's my save round. What do you got, Redbeard? You want to close us out?
Well, I just wanted to give Aaron here. He's spent a lot of time giving us some value. I want to give him some value and let him give his little pitch about what he does.
Oh, are we going to talk roofs now?
Yeah, talk roofs.
Pitch us. Pitch us.
We are Doc's Roofing. We bring the value to Rockwall. We're both a couple of hometown guys. Mike Rannigan, owner, operator, and Navy Corpsman. I am Aaron, operations, and I was an Army medic. It kind of works out that Mike only hires other medics, so that way they can be called Doc's Roofing. We love Rockwall. We take care of Rockwall. We run out, do complimentary services, but the big deal is we've got a real bone to pick to try to make sure that Rockwall stays strong with local contractors that do great work, that rely on their reputation. Real big on making sure that we promote other roofers in this area. We work close hand in hand with other Rockwall roofing companies, but we'd rather see you keep that business in hometown where I'm able to look you in the eye when we go to the grocery store and say, I did a damn good job. We do residential and we do commercial. And if you got any questions about it, give me a holler. We do inspections. Hell, we do preventative maintenance. And those of you that were ever in the military understand what preventative maintenance is. Love to just come out and I get no more satisfaction than leaving a roof and going, nope, looks good. I added some sealant while I was up there, but we'll just keep an eye on it. So we're Doc's Roofing. We're your hometown roofer. There you go.
Well awesome. And we have another question here real quick. CJ, there is a list that shows at least the people who are part of the RVBA. If you go to rockwallchamber.org/RVBA, there's a button that you click and it'll give you the list of all of the members.
Sean, throw that in the comments if you can real quick.
Why don't you go ahead, Jeff? Tell us what you do real quick.
What was it again? Tell it again.
Tell us what you do.
What I do? I grow this beard. I sit around and I install really cool electronics and really cool homes for really stinking cool people. I own Black Level AV. Been in the industry since 2003 when I got out of the Marine Corps. And I've done everything I possibly can with my business to be the best entertainment provider, whether it's audio, video, home networking, motorized shades, control for automation. But most importantly, I treat all my clients like their family. And I got this little hashtag that I use, and most of you have seen it, or maybe you haven't. It's hashtag Black Level AV Family, because I really take a concerted effort to make sure that every single project that I get involved with, and I'll asterisk this, I'm picky with the projects because they have to make sense for my business, but I keep a track of every single job I do, and I treat it like it's one of my own. So at Black Level AV, we're your custom entertainment specialists.
Awesome stuff. So next week, Jeff, we have the OG3. We have you, we have Doc, and we have KC coming on. And I got here that we're talking about telling your story.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's going to be a good one. Y'all are going to want to stick around for that one because, we got Old Man Winter, Mr. Casey. He's got a crazy cool story. Doc and I go way back. We were actually wearing the old pickle suit in ROTC back in Mesquite High School. Go Skeeters. So stick around with it because I think the point that we're going to try to make is not really just telling you our story about who we are, but, making sure that story represents something you can pull together for yourself. And if you have maybe a similar story and you're working through some difficult times or whatever, but we'll give our story. We'll see, share with you guys some things about how we've overcome some obstacles and primarily in business, because that's what this is. Rockwall Veterans Business Alliance, right? We're veterans and patriots alike that run, own, and do business with one another. If you're interested in becoming a member of the RVBA, reach out to Redbeard. He'll get you set up real quick. We go live Thursday, 6 p.m. That's 1800 for you jarhead knuckleheads out there. But Sean, thanks a lot for putting this together, man. It's awesome to see that you're stepping up. We are actively seeking new leadership, and I just want to put this out in the universe. We got a couple of candidates that have filled out some paperwork or whatever, but Casey, Doc, and I, we've been doing this. It's very similar to like Withrow. His time was to pass the baton, and he passed it to me and my guys, and we ran with it. We're trying to do the same thing now. We want to mentor some upcoming businesses. We want to mentor veterans or patriots. It doesn't matter. We need some leadership to people to step up. And I'll say this for the ones in the back that can't hear me. If you've gained anything from the RVBA, if you've been a part of the RVBA, from the networking to the Christmas parties to the freaking Casa backpack drives or whatever, if you've given anything to this organization and received anything back, I would just encourage you to consider becoming a part of the leadership team, because I can tell you right now, the more you give, the more you get. And I'm a perfect example of this. You will receive so much more being in a leadership situation with the RVBA than you ever thought you would. So don't look at it as homework.
100%.
Don't look at it as, oh, that's another something for me. There's much to be gained here, and much, much more to give back. So that's kind of my pitch for the RVBA.
Good stuff. Hey, so next week, the title of the talk is called "No Shit, There I Was."
Is that what it is? We can go with that.
Yeah, go with that, because
Yeah,
every
like
damn
that.
war story that's ever started with, so no shit, there I was, inverted and on fire, air medals dangling in my face.
We could also call it hold my beer, watch this, right?
Hold my beer, watch this.
Hey, fellas, thanks for taking the time out, man. Y'all really make me happy that you're involved with this. Aaron, we should all thank you for this, because being the OG here, you're the reason.
Nah, man.
You're the reason most of this has taken place. So it's been a long time since we've seen your face on here.
I love getting to come on here and have a little bit of fun with my boys. So that's why we made it, because I needed to have fun with my boys, grow with my boys, mature with my boys, girls. Sorry, I'm a dick. But there you go.
Awesome. Well, we'll end it on that. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place.
Semper Fi.